The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Dumbing It Down with Dave. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Are you ready to dumb it down? That's fantastic. Have a seat. I'm on the New York State Thruway. We're northbound, about 71 miles an hour. We'll crank it up a little bit once everybody gets situated. We'll start off a little slow. We'll count the mile markers, the delineators, 1/10 of a mile at a time. And before you know it, we'll be going so fast, we'll be counting the delineators, the mile markers, at 1 mile at a time and faster. Right now I'm at the 107 mile marker, headed north, and I am really happy to be here with you. I am not in the Kia Rio, as Alex Exum from alexexum.com, who does the intro there, says in the intro. I'm in a Subaru Impreza. Yes, I'm in a coronavirus-free, whatever those letters are, HV1, H1, or whatever, VH1, whatever it's called, corona-free car, and I'll explain to you either now or later why I am driving my wife's Subaru Impreza. But anyway, it looks like the microphone is working. I've been a little concerned about a loose connection. I have to order a new microphone, headset, and maybe even a new charging cord for the old 6S. But I am northbound. Thanks for coming along for the ride. I got room for plenty of you. If not all of you, I have room for. And this is the fastest podcast on earth. We talk about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. What happened to the word truth there? Did I just freak out? Truth? Truth? Did you hear that? I heard it. Truth. All right, whatever. I'm like Bobby Brady, or which one was he? The middle Brady. Greg? Bob Peter. That was the middle Brady there. When it's time to change, I went truth. That was weird. Anyway, yeah, truth, pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. And I probably should throw in there, but it doesn't seem to have a ring, doesn't really roll off the tongue, is that somehow, one way or another, I always seem to bring it down. I dumb it down, but I try to bring it down to human behavior. Just like, not so much dealing with the facts of coronavirus, the facts of, Mayor Dunberg and the money that he spent that he could have spent somewhere else, the facts of, the facts of life in regards to, my relationship with my father or my family or you or my friends, my depleters, my job, but the human behavior. Like when I got caught wearing earphones, the headphones in the yard at my job, and I got suspended for 3 days. A blessing in disguise. I would like to get suspended if I could once a month. That would be great. Unpaid, I'd love that. I would sign up for that right now. Dave, you're going to work you're going to take off 3 days a week for the rest of your career, about once a month. So you're really going to work 3 out of 4 weeks. You're going to get 12 weeks of vacation, basically, but unpaid. Yes, sign me up. I can afford to not work. Believe it or not, I can afford not to. Human behavior is how it was treated, when I got caught in the yard. The fact that I have to say I got caught. It's like, really? I am a professional truck driver. You hired me. I've been safety free for how many years? You should okay, listen. I just want you to know, Dave, as your supervisor, this is how we have to move forward. I want to talk to you like a man. I'm not going to, zero tolerance, sound the alarm, get the paperwork, write them up. Oh boy, whatever. All that stuff. The situation with my father, with my sister, with the pleaders. I like to come back to human behavior. Usually. But I don't say that. I say pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Okay, somewhere in there is the study of human behavior. Now, I'm not an expert on anything. For those of you who are new to the show, my name is Dave Canyon. I am your one and only solo podcast host. For the rest of the show, if you have anything you want to say, if you are listening on Spreaker, which I hope you are, you can comment in the Spreaker box. There's only a few other apps that actually have a chat box that you can write comments to. Of course, I'd love for you all to go to iTunes if you haven't done it already. Go to iTunes or Apple Podcasts. Give me a 5-star rating and review. I'd love that. But you really can't comment on every show on iTunes or Apple, whatever they're calling it these days. You only can do it like once. One 5-star rating, one review, and that's it. So that's why I like you to come to the Spreaker box, or go to davecanyon.com. I have a contact form. The contact form works. You can send me a message via the contact form. You can go to Twitter @DumbWithDave. That's D-U-M-B at DumbWithDave. You're more than happy to leave a specific comment about the show. I love engagement. I love participation. So I like to invite you into the forum of ideas, the arena of ideas. Unfortunately, we're doing it in a Subaru Impreza. So anyway, that's really the crux of Dumbing It Down with Dave. I'm not an expert on anything. I have more questions than I have answers. And I like to be agenda-free. I don't lean to the left. I don't lean to the right. I like to think I walk forward to the truth, which is basically the middle. That's how I feel. But I have a lot of friends and family, mostly not family and mostly not friends. I have acquaintances and people I know. I have listeners that have extreme points of view. Extreme to who? It's all relative. My point of view about something might be extreme to you on one side, but not that extreme to the other guy or the other woman on the other side. If you want to critique everything, or you want to scale it. Let's say scale it, not critique. Critique would be words. Scale everything from 0 to 100. Zero emotion, zero anything, and then 100, you're all the way to the other side of the gauge or whatever. If you're doing it on a straight line, or even in a round gauge that you would see in a dashboard of a car and a truck, I usually run about 50. Usually, sometimes I'm 20, sometimes I'm 80. But if I'm 20 and you're 0, or you're 15 or 25, hey, I'm closer to you. If I'm 80, I don't seem that extreme. If I'm 80 and you're 85 or 75, maybe even 100, I don't seem that far away from you. But if you're 100 and I'm 20, I seem far away. You get that, right? I didn't have to explain that, but sometimes I think I do, because I like to assume that everybody thinks like I do, which I've come to learn. I don't know when I did, but at some point, hey, a lot of people don't think like me. Not initially, but I think through this podcast, I feel like we've created this relationship where the more you listen, maybe, I don't want to say I'm converting people, but I think people are possibly a little bit more receptive to hearing what I would consider the truth. And the truth is, it's not always about the facts. Sometimes it's about human behavior, where we go, oh yeah, I've always been this way. Yeah, but why? Because, or my father, or my mother, or my friends, or where I grew up, and that's just how we do it. Or my religion, a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on. Oh yeah, because of the Bible, the God, or the church, or whatever. But when you peel the onion, and you peel back the onion, you peel it. You want to know what's at the center of this onion? What gives it its smell? What makes this onion, really an onion? When you start peeling back the thin layers at a time, you know how you do that with that onion? It's always like, oh my God, another layer, another layer, another layer. You start asking why, and why to the why, and why to the why. Hopefully you get closer to the answer, or to an answer that will suffice for now. An answer that is good enough for now. Because ultimately, who knows the truth? That's my problem. That's my solution. That's my issue, is who really knows? When you do peel the onion, if a human being was actually able, and I guess now I have to be a little bit more, is the word aesthetic or whatever, is, because if you peel back a real onion, you will get to the middle. But, the onion of life, the onion of the questions of the world, a human being can only peel so far, and then when you get to the middle, are we even capable of understanding what it is that we're looking at, what it is that we're hearing or seeing, feeling or smelling, all that stuff. So I always go, you know what? That's good enough for human consumption. That's good enough for now. I am not the all-knowing. I'm not the all-powerful. If that is God or some alien from another planet, another universe, I always just leave at least 0.01% of doubt. Like, well, you know what? Good enough for now. And truthfully, I'm always amazed at these priests, these pastors, these guys that speak in front of these churches, and the way they talk, like they're so definite. They're so definitive. God this, God that, the book of this, this psalm, this chapter, this, and they tell the stories of the Bible, and great stories, I'm not going to spend the time on the show and poo-poo on the Bible and poo-poo on religion. For those of you who listen, you know, I can respect it. I respect people who have the discipline, because I love discipline. You go to church, you do your thing. But, some people take it too far, and some people just live way too definitely because of the Bible. And then I go, maybe you should question it a little bit. No, it's in the Bible. It says. And I go, well, but how did you learn about the Bible? Oh, because my father told me. Yeah, well, okay. But how do you know your father knows? Well, why would he be wrong? Whatever he says, it's from the Bible. I go, yeah, well, all right. You know what? You're locked in. When you've got that laser focus and you're locked in, and as a lot of people say, you're drinking the juice. If you're drinking the juice, you're not open-minded to the possibilities. Why? Why should I be open-minded to the possibilities? Are all there in the Bible. It's all right there. Okay. Now, as I just saw in a documentary, now I know who the mayor of Crazy Town. When you're locked in like that, and by the way, that goes for me too. I want you to know that. When I get locked into something, I become the mayor of Crazy Town. Because you're closing the door to reality. You're closing the door to what's outside your box. Who's outside your room? Who's outside your world? What is that people are talking about? When you close up and you lock it down, you're all by yourself in that little room. You can say, Dave, how do you know I'm not locked in with 20 other people in a bigger room? How do you know I'm not locked into all the Catholics in the world, which are millions of people? How do you know I'm not locked into a room with millions of Muslims? How do you know I'm not locked into a room with millions of Jews? Listen, I just think that once you close up, then you can't see what's happening. You can't possibly evolve. You can't possibly learn. Well, why do I need to evolve or learn? I've learned everything. It's all in the Bible. All right. Well, maybe I am poo-pooing on the Bible today, but I just try to get a point across here that this show is all about being open-minded. This show is all about exploration of the truth. And once we think we get there, I think the best thing to do is to do that thing that Chevy Chase did in that movie National Lampoon's Vacation when he went to see the Grand Canyon. Right? What was his name? Oh, I forgot. That woman, that blonde hair, she's a beautiful woman, says Clark, right? Clark Huxtable, whatever his name is. Clark Higgins or Clark whatever. What was the name of that station wagon? Yeah. So anyway, because they called it the so-and-so mobile. Anyway, hey Clark, come here. And then he goes, Don't you want to see the Grand Canyon? He goes, He moves his head a couple of times, and they leave. I think they had grandma on the roof at that time, right? But didn't they have a dead grandmother on the roof of the car? Anyway, so once we get to the truth, we do the, all right, good for now. But Dave, we spent so much time. We're 208 episodes into Dumbing It Down with Dave. Are we not at the truth yet? Isn't this it? About this subject, about that subject, about your depleters, about your job, about Mayor Dunberg or whoever. You know what? Wherever we land, that's good enough for now. But we have to keep our ears open and our eyes open and go, all right, maybe one day somebody will present to us a different point of view. Something that we never understood. Remember, we're humans. I'm a human doing a podcast for other humans. I don't know how brilliant we are together. But we're as brilliant, and I use the word brilliant loosely, we're as brilliant as we can be via podcasting, via the internet, you and I together. In 5 years, maybe we'll become so much smarter, we'll go, wow, I can't believe that. I can't believe 5 years ago we didn't consider this. Remember where we were back in the day with Elvis? He's shaking his hips. They're like, oh, that's the work of the devil. So you couldn't film him. You couldn't film Elvis Presley from the hips down. Now, these are humans from the 1950s. 70 years ago, 7-0. In the scheme of things, in the world of time, right? In the world of time, whatever that means. Doesn't that seem a little ridiculous? But back then, we probably felt we were pretty smart, right? We had religion in the schools, I think. There was less craziness in the world, maybe. I don't know. Everything's relative. I like the idea that I have an audience that I feel is participating in this line of thought. And if you currently are not, and you want to be a listener, it's not a prerequisite, but try to think about things. Try to think about the possibilities in life. This coronavirus situation, to me, is fascinating because it's kind of like, it's almost like AIDS for everybody else. You know how what's that book? Dummies? Jesus. Dummies, the Dummies series of books, and it's a how-to for the rest of us, or something like that. I can't believe already I'm forgetting the Dummies series. But anyway, but you know what I mean. And I think in every book it's, it's like so-and-so for dummies, math for dummies, computers for dummies, cooking for dummies, health and fitness for dummies, investing for dummies. And then it says like it's a how-to for the rest of us, or something like that. They kind of throw a little joke in there. So, AIDS to me, this coronavirus to me is kind of like, Corona for dummies. And, it's like the AIDS because, and I'm not making fun of anything, folks, by the way. If anybody has a relative that has passed away or whatever, in any way affected by that whole thing, and it's a very serious situation. A lot of people died. I'm not making any fun of it. I'm just using it as like, wow, now it's affecting everybody. I don't know the socioeconomic breakdown of people who are dying from corona. I don't know the socioeconomic breakdown of people who are affected that just actually have the coronavirus and who's recovering from it and who is not. I don't have all those numbers. But what I do see is that the reaction seems to is very interesting from the entire population of the United States. I cannot speak to Canada or the world, but the United States, where this is not a racial issue. This is not a political issue, not just yet. In other words, it doesn't matter whether you're a Republican or Democrat. The coronavirus doesn't seem to know. Again, I don't have hard numbers. But even though it seems like more people in the state of Washington have died from it, or maybe however that happened, I don't know if that has to do with anything with them being in the northwest of the United States as opposed to the southeast, where it might be lower, like in Florida, because it's hotter or whatever. There's less Chinese people, less people. However, somebody is patient zero, and so on and so forth. I don't even know if we know who patient zero is, but I do recall there was this young Chinese doctor who died from it, and he tried to be the whistleblower in China, and then they kind of suppressed him, and then he died, and before he died, he took a picture saying something, help me, or help, good luck, so whatever he took, maybe he labeled himself as a victim of corona, and then he knew he was going to die. I don't know. It's just like most things in the news, it seems like the further away we get from day one, the further the story gets from the truth. Because it's easy to distract human beings when we're all on the hunt for toilet paper. It's easy. Every time there's a crisis, the further we get away from the day one, the further we get from the truth. And then most of us, maybe not you, but I say most of us, 99.9%, 99%, whatever, people just don't really have the ability to comprehend the situation for what it is. And then they act crazy. Or maybe they do comprehend the situation for what it is, and that makes them crazy. I can't begin to tell you what's going on in the United States today. Who's crazy and who's not crazy. You know what? I have 36 rolls of toilet paper. I didn't really try hard to get it. Just went to the store the other day. I still had toilet paper left. An hour later, everything was gone. I just happened to go at the right time. My wife called me and said, hey, there's a situation going on. You might want to go to the store. I said, okay. I felt like toilet paper was kind of important. I poop a lot. I do. I poop often. Once a day. I'm pretty regular. But I need things to do, the things that need to be done, after I poop. I went to the store, and wouldn't you know it? Almost cleaned out. I got 2 rolls that were on sale, and I could have gotten more. I could have really gotten more. Could have gotten 100 rolls. But those things were on sale. I really didn't think this was going to be a thing. So now I have 36 rolls. I actually did a video. You might have seen it on the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group page. I didn't think I was being paranoid or crazy. I was like, my wife called me. But now, today, my wife and I went to Sam's, Aldi's, Family Dollar. We didn't go to Target, but my wife did get a text from a friend who said she went to Target just hours before, and they had it, but they got it cleaned out right away. And then also, I posted something today on Facebook where I was on my way home from all this crazy shopping, And the supermarket in my town, Price Chopper, a grocery trailer, was headed in the opposite direction towards the supermarket. Now, a grocery trailer, I call it a grocery trailer because it's unrefrigerated. I know what these things look like. There was no reefer in the front, which makes it a grocery trailer. And for you guys, most people are like, what does that mean, Dave? What's the difference? Well, when you work at Price Chopper, or maybe if you work in the grocery industry, a grocery trailer is everything but the refrigerated stuff. If it's a refrigerated trailer, then it's probably meats and dairy and all that stuff. Things that are perishable, fruits and vegetables, all that. So that means toilet paper is probably on that trailer because it's a grocery trailer. Toilet paper does not need to be refrigerated. Most supermarkets do not ship their product that doesn't need to be refrigerated on a refrigerated trailer. Well, anyway, that's the trucking portion of the show. We always went, hey, is this a trucking show? Well, that portion was. All right, so we got 8 minutes left. So I'm talking about the coronavirus. I'm talking about pandemonium. Pandemonium. We're talking about, is it a pandemic? Is it? What is going on in the United States? What's happening? Well, here's what I do know. And if I remember tomorrow, after I do this, maybe tonight, I will post a link in the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. Maybe I'll tweet it out. I don't know. It was an ABC News, ABC, the network, television, news. There was a link, and it talked about the influenza, a.k.a. the flu. How many people died from the flu in 2019? If I recall correctly, because I don't have the papers, I'm driving a car, Subaru Impreza on the New York State Thruway, northbound. Almost at Albany. I'm about 13 miles south of Albany now. Look how far we've come together. That 16,000 people died from the flu in 2019. That's not an exact number. Could be more. But I guess all you have to do is go to the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, and you'll get the exact number. 16,000 dead. That's a lot. That's a lot. In the scheme of things, is it? I don't know. But it sounds like a lot of people. It's almost an arena. How many people go see the Knicks these days? They're horrible. Probably less than 16,000 a game. I don't know. It's a lot of people. How many people have died from the coronavirus? I don't think that many. A couple hundred maybe? 30 people? I'm all confused by all these news reports. How many people have actually contracted it? How many people have actually died from it? How many people have recovered from it? It doesn't seem like we're close to 16,000 when it comes to deaths. Not at all. But we're reacting to it quite animatedly. I don't want to say the wrong word. I don't want you to think, Dave, hey, listen, man, I'm protecting myself. Listen, do what you got to do. I'm washing my hands all the time. I got two things I posted on the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group, the Listerine thing that my job gave me, 99.09 or 99 whatever percent effective in killing viruses and bacteria. And the other day, I came back to work Friday. Remember, I was suspended for a few days. I came back to work. I sat in the driver's seat. I went to it. I worked on that steering wheel like crazy. On top of the steering wheel and underneath the steering wheel. Got all the boogers and all the viruses. I wiped that thing down. It was so wet, disgusting. I needed a towel to dry it down. I need an antibacterial towel. And then I did the dashboard and all the buttons I would press. The radio, the heat, and the shift stick, the window crank, the window ledge. Anything I thought my fingers would touch. And I sat there and I used, I don't know how many sheets of this Lysol. Did I say Listerine? No, this Lysol thing that I took a picture of in the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. And I wiped it all down. It took me 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. It's exhausting, by the way. I used to think I put a lot of effort into cleaning these trucks. The other day, I really put in a super effort. But only on the driver's side. I don't sit on the passenger side. If I had a passenger, he'd have to do his side. I don't know how many more bottles we have of this cleansing Lysol product. But I hope we have more. Because what's next? I have to get the aerosol. I don't want to use the aerosol can. I just don't. Anyway, is that paranoia? No. I mean, I should be cleaning down the truck anyway. Truck should be clean. But just flu-wise, just forget about corona. 16,000 people dead. 50 states. What is 16,000 divided by 50? I think 32,000. No, 3,200? Yep. 3,200. No, that's wrong. 320 times 50 is, let's try that again, 500. You know what? I had to pause. For a second. I wanted to do the math in my head because I wanted to get this right. 16,000 divided by 50 states is 320 people. In every state in 2019, roughly 320 people died from the flu, from influenza. Influenza sounds scarier than the flu, doesn't it? The flu sounds like something, I'm not coming into work today. I got the flu. I'll be out for a week. Influenza sounds like, what'd you do? Oh, yeah, well, I smoked for 20 years. I didn't take care of myself. I ended up with influenza. I think I'm trying to say emphysema. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? 320 people per state. Okay, so I live in New York State. Some of you live in Idaho. Some of you are in California. If you take 320, you space it apart all over every county. Every county gets 1 or 2 deaths. And you space it out over 365 days, maybe it doesn't seem so bad because it's spread out. But if tomorrow 16,000 people died of anything, oh yeah, there would be mass hysteria. Every time an airplane goes down, they always say, what do they say, right? We talked about this on the show before. Oh no, airline travel still remains the safest because of the numbers. Millions and millions of people fly. Only 300 die a year from a plane going down in the Pacific Ocean and we never could find it, or it crashes into a side of a mountain or whatever. And there's a lot more smaller accidents than there are the bigger. I don't know. I don't have a list of all the airplanes that have crashed over the last 20, 30 years or since airline travel has started. But we all go up in the air knowing very well this might not work, but yet we do it. And if I knew somebody that crashed on an airplane, would that stop me from flying on an airplane? No, I got to get to Disneyland. I got to get to Italy. I got to get to Iceland. I got to go. I'm on a business trip. There's no foolproof air travel. People die all the time. Probably more people have died from air travel, dying during air travel. Well, actually, they would be dying, I guess, not during air travel. Well, anyway, you know what I mean. But in any given year, then people have died from the coronavirus. We're all infected with air travel right now. If you've ever flown on a plane, or if you're ever thinking about flying on a plane, or for those of you who have no fear of flying, and you just might fly one day, you haven't flown in 10 years for whatever reason, but you'll fly again. You're infected with air travel. You just haven't died yet. You're walking around with air travel disease. You're going to die. Maybe. You don't know. So, I am sort of equating that with the coronavirus. You have it, you might die, you might not. Or you're out here in the air, is it airborne? Wash your hands, disinfect your area. Maybe you'll live. Maybe you'll make it past all this hysteria. People die from air travel all the time. People die in the railroad accidents, right? We've had some railroad situations. Not a lot, but every time you get on a train, you have no idea. Every time you get in the car on the road. Why am I yelling? You know what I'm saying? I have I have car travel disease. I could die from an accident any second now. All these tractor trailers have been passing while I'm talking to you, traveling at a high rate of speed. By the way, the fastest podcast on earth. You know what I'm saying? Boy, this corona. I can't wait till it's over. I hope people stop getting sick from it. I hope people stop dying from it. I hope people stop talking about it. It's enough already. That's me being impatient and selfish with my first world problems. Folks, try to keep a sane, level head. Be prepared for everything in life. Be prepared for forest fires. Be prepared for sickle cell anemia. Be prepared for diabetes. Be prepared for shark bites. Be prepared for meteorites falling from the sky. Be prepared for everything because you don't know. But until then, live life. I hope I dumbed it down for you. I hope I dumbed it down and you understand. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, Godspeed, good rats, great skills, whatever. Doesn't really matter. I don't have time to go over it. Goodbye, good day, good night, good luck, good riddance, Godspeed, good luck, and great skills. Who cares? Goodbye. See ya.